So welcome. This is Karen Lindwall-Board with the National Association of Christian Women Entrepreneurs for another Tuesday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time community and education webinar. We're talking about entrepreneur wellness this whole year. I'm kind of reluctant to leave this topic because it's been such a blessing for me and for so many others. For this month, we're talking about environmental wellness. My slides are a bit out of order. Here we go. This is the end of the month of July when we will be talking about environmental wellness. And for the whole month of August, we'll be talking about social wellness, family and friends, and social media, online relationships, and all sorts of things. And we're looking really forward to that. But for environmental wellness, for the month of emotional wellness, someone suggested, can we have someone come in and talk to us about the use of essential oils to enhance emotional wellness? And we did, and it was such a huge hit that we decided we would do it again. Charlotte Frisk is my upline for Young Living essential oils, and she wasn't able to be here, and she recommended Angela Walker. So we're really grateful that she did that. Backing up, I got this all out of order. You'll forgive me, I know you're such gracious people. Backing up, let's talk about the conference just for a bit. I'll put the link to the conference in the web page. Just went up today in the chat room. You can go and check it out. We're going to have a conference September 17th through 20th. 17th is a Thursday night. It's just a meet and greet and hors d'oeuvres, and then we'll meet all day Friday the 18th, all day Saturday the 19th. And if anybody stays over the next day, we'll have brunch and time to worship together here at my offices. The rest of it will be in downtown McKinney at the Gather McKinney, which has turned out to be a really neat venue. So we ask you to keep us in your prayers. And of course, we ask you to look at that webpage and see if there's a way that you can plug into the conference. This is the first year we've ever done this. We have 3 options for you thanks to COVID-19. You can come in person to McKinney, Texas, and we'll wear masks if you want us to, and we'll spread all out. It's a huge place, big enough for everybody. Or you can watch online in a live virtual summit format. And if you did either one of those other things, we're just going to send you all of the recordings from the conference included. So if you can't attend the virtual summit because the dates are wrong and you're going to be at the beach that week, we totally get that. You can still purchase a ticket that gets you those video recordings afterwards. And it's a win-win situation for just as many people as we can make it a win-win situation for. So thank you for keeping the conference in your prayers. We really appreciate it. As we talk about environmental wellness, we're going to ask you in the chat room to make some comments about, and I'll put this in the chat room, about who you are and where you are and what your goal for July was. If you want to go ahead and put your goal for August in, you're welcome to do that as well. And then let us know what challenges you, where environmental wellness is concerned, and what great benefits there were, especially in July in our topsy-turvy world right now for environmental wellness. Come in and talk to us. I'm going to stop share, pray us in, and introduce you to Angela. Father God, I am so grateful for NACWE. They've become, like Courtney calls them, friends and family, or family. They've become my family. We love seeing each other as often as we can. We're learning from one another constantly, which is a big deal for me, that there are always new people introducing us to new concepts. And they're in line with your precepts, Lord, for life and relationships and ministry. We want to work your way. I'm grateful for the opportunity to even have a conference this year. We didn't know if we could, and now we are. I pray your blessing over it and over anyone who wants to have any part in it whatsoever. I would ask, Lord, you specifically bless Shay Vines of Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur, who will bring our keynote message to us and sit on a panel with us, in fact, that second day. We just are praying, Lord, for your guidance every step of the way, for everyone in this room, for every Christian woman entrepreneur who will watch this video recording later, especially for Angela, as she brings this message to us and as she distributes Young Living essential oils and learned so many. As we chatted before, there were just so many things she knew and has been trained to teach that I haven't even scratch the surface of. So we're just grateful for that. And we pray, Lord, that you expand her and our borders so that we can serve you more. And we ask these things in Jesus Christ's holy name. Amen. All right. Angela. So I met Angela through Charlotte, and I don't know a whole lot about Angela. I came in to the little pre-meeting later than I should have, and we didn't get a chance to talk too much. So Angela, I'm going to let you, I'll mute me. I'm going to let you introduce yourself your way, and then please make sure that we know how to reach you at the end of the webinar as well. God bless. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, welcome everyone. I am excited that you're all here today. Let me get started. Okay.
It worked before, so we know it can work again.
Right.
Maybe we aren't holding our tongue right. I don't know. I'll help.
Let's see.
There we go.
Okay.
Oops.
Oh, where is it?
So just click at your top left tab, and then there you go. Yay. Thank you.
Well, welcome everyone. I sure appreciate you being here, and I'd like to invite you to grab some refreshments, grab your notepads, and come on in and join us. If you're taking notes, please do ask questions if you have them. I'd like to start off by saying my name is Angela Walker. I'm married to my husband, Courtney. Here's my family. Courtney, we've been married for the past 20 years, and together we have 3 college-age children. Journey on the left is our oldest, and Jordan, our next middle child, and then Jalen just graduated from high school. So they're all here living at home, and now you know how to pray for me. We also have 2 oily mutts, which we love, and we use essential oils with them as well. So I'm a retired Air Force veteran, and I love fresh living foods, DIYing, and I'm what you call a sesquipedalian, and that is a person who loves big words. That seems to make me excited for some reason. But of course, the reason why I'm here today is because I love essential oils. So they are the little loves of my life. My husband being the love of my life, but my oils are the loves of my life. So over the past 3 years, I've gotten to work with Young Living essential oils as a distributor, as a wellness educator, and use this, not that connoisseur, as most of my family likes to say. We've also had our share of ups and downs, and a lot of that is what led me to down this road. I'm a renal transplant patient. My husband was my donor, and the years following that, or my transplant, I searched for many different modalities to help me to be able to support my health and wellness. And that's where my journey started. It started with me. That's where my level of consciousness came about, and I began to question things. My introduction took place over maybe about 3 years ago during a missions conference. And Charlotte was actually teaching the class. I invited her to teach on essential oils as I taught about how you can take everyday common items from your kitchen and use them in your bathroom as skincare, making those DIY products that I love making so much. So that was my first introduction to essential oils, and true essential oils, if I could say that. So what I learned that day not only sparked my interest, but it taught me how to best support my health. And it became my passion, which fueled my love for educating on essential oils and the raindrop technique, which drastically changed my life. It's what supported my my health, and it's kept me from tons of hospitalizations and being away from my family as mama. So I'm surely grateful for you guys and your presence here today, just taking the time and having the desire to learn. And I'm definitely excited about this topic and essential oils. So let's dive right in. So if I could start by saying, I'm not a doctor. It's essential oils aren't evaluated by the FDA, and I'm not here and I'm not using this presentation as an intended way to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease or illness as a substitute for seeking professional care or advice. I still use my doctors, my transplant team, but I do advocate for myself. So there's the difference. So when we look at conscious environmental wellness, we look at our lifestyles, the way we individually live, and we consider the things that makes that different. We all have many things in common, from the things we go and bring into our homes as gatekeepers, and we have an understanding of what it takes to help us thrive every day. So one of the things that we consider is that what do we really know about the things that we buy for our environment, for our home? How is that affecting us on a day-to-day basis? But not really do we truly understand all the things that we need to know. So that's where our desire to learn and our drive to research and want to know more brings us into this level of conscious awareness. So I have pointed out a couple of terms that I'd like to just simply define. By no means am I trying to, these are not my favorite big words, I'll say, but just to enlighten us and talk about it a little bit more. Our state of consciousness, or being awake within our own environments and surroundings, that's the way we define consciousness. Environmental is the relating to the natural world and the impact of human activity on its condition. And then wellness is the state of being good, being in good health, and that's what we're actively pursuing on a day-to-day basis. And then we have the lifestyle, the choices in that choices we get to make on a day-to-day basis of how we live. So we ask ourselves, what's the big deal? What is it that we have to be conscious or aware of? Unfortunately, it's common for products not only to include one, but an array of toxins, toxic chemicals that actually are absorbed into our body, our skin, inhaled through our lungs. And these can actually be found in the body, in the bloodstream, within seconds of using it or having exposure to it. And they can be linked to tons of conditions or health issues such as asthma and allergy, cancer, reproductive issues, hormone disruptions, all the things that are listed before you. So a study found in the Journal of Environmental Health found that women who used a combination of cleaning products, almost like a cocktail, we mix so many things together, we're not aware of the harm that it's causing us in the end. So this study found that we are 110% more likely to develop breast cancer than those who rarely use them. So I used to be that person that would pull out my bleach and go away cleaning, and I'd be laying on the floor next to an open window after, in the end. And, that should have been the red flag for me in knowing that, wow, this is something that you really shouldn't have in your home. But it took many, many years for me to have that light bulb moment. So not only does chemicals not only have they been linked to serious health issues, but we don't and that show up later and impact our health. So, nor are the effects of chemical combinations often considered. Like I said before, the synergistic effects of these combinations are worse than the individual chemicals alone. So, say for instance, like I said, we combine a few cleaning ingredients at home. Most people tend to have ammonia. Most people tend to have baking soda and bleach. What if we combine those things and really did more harm than good? So it's best to really have that level of understanding under our belts as to what we're using. So most conventional products are produced by manufacturers who their only goal is to simply cut corners. And they do that to mass produce. And so many things and processes are cut out of the equation. They aren't required to disclose all of the ingredients that they use within their products, or even the processes that their products undergo. And being well informed of what we're exposing ourselves to and our families is very important. It's very important that we are given the ability to make those correct decisions while we're in the store as educated shoppers. Many of the toxic chemicals we'll be learning about today are actually endocrine disruptors. And these are chemical compounds that interfere with the healthy hormones and healthy hormone production. The actual interfering with normal production, imitating and modifying natural hormones, and upsetting hormone signaling and proper binding is what we get when we come into contact with these endocrine disruptors. So we wonder why our bodies are out of sync and out of homeostasis and aren't optimally working at their norm. So hormones actually have a great they do great things in our bodies, and their overall effect is that they help regulate our heart, our metabolism, our emotional wellness, and our quality of sleep. So balance of our hormones is quite the key when it comes to all of these bodily functions. Hormones are crucial for the health and vitality because they are the chemical messengers that communicate from cell to cell throughout our body. So the best thing that I've come to learn is that usually we go one place, or we look for a recommendation here, and we look for products that are effective and they're safe and that they work. That's the one thing I've come to love about Young Living, is that I can find everything that is for the body, whether supplementing or skincare or essential oils. So essentially our company is a great company for total lifestyle wellness. So the one thing I've come to learn is that there's no regulation on the word natural. And getting into learning about products and the way that they're marketed is that we can be deceived. We can easily be deceived. Product packaging can be made to look green and eco, when instead we should be turning that product over and reading the ingredients for ourselves to have a better understanding of what the product is doing and what each ingredient in the product is doing. The fact that this word natural isn't regulated, it can mean some of the product's ingredients can come from natural sources, but the manufacturers aren't required to disclose how much or how little of the ingredient is present. It can be misleading to consumers into thinking that a product is safer or more economically friendlier than it actually is. So learning to read labels has been one of the ways that I've learned to be wary of certain claims that, companies are making about their products. And this is actually, I don't know if you've heard this term, but it's called greenwashing. It's the ability that a company has to make you think that a product is actually more greener or cleaner, and all the things that we look for in our household and cleaning and beauty products. It's actually encouraging to know that more of our population is becoming aware and conscious of these trends and practices, and that they're actually seeking to understand it better. Understanding the risks of toxins that we encounter on a daily basis is how we're gonna learn, and we're gonna sift out those bad ingredients. So it's obvious why green cleaners have such an appeal. The household cleaning industry has caught on to this trend and responded in full force with product lines that they claim are actually natural. The products are labeled green and all natural for marketing purposes, and often cost 20 to 30% more. So just by marketing smarter actually costs you. So I know we're trying to make good decisions, and we buy a cleaning product that touts it's plant-based or it's all natural, but most of the time all of the actual ingredients are harmful for us. This practice, known as greenwashing, is safer to advertise that way for the companies, but in the end, we as consumers pay the price. An estimated 95% of products are guilty of this marketing practice. All natural and green doesn't necessarily mean it's non-toxic. Many of these occurring chemicals, such as arsenic, mercury, formaldehyde, are actually poisonous to us. It can be overwhelming to think about all the toxins and all the ingredients and constituents that there are to learn about, but it is a start. We should be willing to take that step as stewards to want to better safeguard the health of ourselves and our families. While it may not be possible to avoid all toxins in our lives, there are plenty of ways to significantly reduce our family's exposure through simple lifestyle changes. So these 3 steps are specific to the Young Living lifestyle. And it's basically a lifestyle or a choice of living, which allows us to identify the harmful products being used in our homes. And it allows us to better identify those red flag ingredients, reading labels. Also, replacing those toxic products with safer, effective alternatives from our trusted sources. That's going to take time, shopping around, taking product recommendations. That's the one thing that I always ran into problems with, because, based on what one person said, who knows what research they did. So I've learned to be able to trust the ingredients within Young Living's product lines, which are safe and effective, very effective. And then implementing a lifestyle of wellness and purpose and abundance, taking full advantage of the Young Living lifestyle, has brought my family, it saved us a lot of stress over the years. So with the quarantine and pandemic, we've not had to alter anything as far as the way we live. We have had our sense of normality, being able to get our products in with Young Living. And they've actually had to step it up in production because, we have definitely been requesting more of it, just to be on the safe side. So that's another thing, the demand of the users has made the supply increase, and it's been a good thing. So we've talked about greenwashing, and we've moved on to these 3 simple steps that we can implement. I'd like to say that there are very little things that I wish I could do over again, but this is definitely one. Just learning and wanting to know the truth about our bodies and what these products are doing in them, and just learning to be encouraged and encourage others has been a great help. Many of you heard Karen mention Charlotte. Charlotte has been a huge factor in me learning and teaching, and we've taught many things together throughout the years, many classes and things like that. So she's definitely a big part of why this lifestyle has come to be a priority for me. So when it actually comes to replacing the toxic things in our homes with safer and healthier alternatives, the Young Living Seed to Seal Promise makes this next step easy. It's no brainer. The Seed to Seal Promise is actually priceless to me. It allows me to know that the integrity of the company is there at all times. I don't have to wonder if a product that I'm using isn't efficient or effective, or if it's changed. Those things have come to be give me a certain level of confidence about what we use here in our home. So we have full ingredient disclosure with the company, and we just simply we rely on the standards. Rigorous quality controls with Seed to Seal. From the seed, meaning when they go to plant the seed until they bottle the actual product or the oil, is consistent, and it continues through every stage of product production, including cultivation, distillation, and bottling. They own their own farms, and you are allowed to go and visit to see their distilleries, to see their warehouses, and the way that they bring the product from start to finish until it's delivered into your hands. And they work jointly with their farmers. They do extensive testing to ensure that you have the highest quality product available. So we can know more about the Seed to Seal difference. If you're interested, you can visit seedtoseal.com and see the process from step to step. So the greenwashing, 95% of the companies are guilty of this, and we're to be wary of their misleading tactics. So if we have many resources available to us, one source that we trust is ewg.org. So it talks about the products, and it rates them on a scale from 1 to 10 of how harmful they are. It even breaks down the chemical constituents in them and the effects on the body. So you're more than welcome to visit ewg.org to learn and do your research there. But they show here a couple of mystery mixtures, and it's basically just talking about federal regulation and things that aren't safe, and it talks about verbiage and things like that. So it's definitely a website that can aid you in your research if you'd like to go there. And then continuing on, fatal if inhaled. Wow, like how many of these products did we grow up with, or even that we still use? Actually, we don't even visit this aisle in the store anymore. We pretty much shop the outskirts and we're out of the store. So it makes it very easy to have that one central hub where we trust that our products are going to come from. But we definitely don't use these products anymore. Please do your research. EWG is a great website. You can plug in whatever product it is that you have in your home and see how the chemical makeup of it is actually working. So visit that. Okay, so step one, we're going to identify those harmful products that are in our home, and we're going to learn to read these labels. Avoiding fragrance, parabens, BPA, phthalates, propylene glycol, butylene glycol, SLSs, SLESs. Many of these different ingredients have alternate names, and it's very important to learn what those names are and how they act differently from one another. Because a product may say, oh, we've changed our formula, we're green, and when really and truly they've just used an alternate ingredient, which is kind of a cousin to the same ingredient. Fragrance has become so overabundant, and many of us use fragrance as a means to buy our products. You know, I can attest to all the times that I stood in the aisles sniffing just to see if it would be something that I wanted for me and my family, or if it, you know, appeased my sense or my, you know, my likes. But it's how companies get away with so many things. They can hide tons of toxic ingredients in their trademark secrets, which they don't have to disclose on their products. So we're learning to adapt and avoid, and fragrance being one of them. We can ditch fragrance, even in our perfumes. If you notice, you turn over a bottle of perfume and it's not going to list its ingredients. The companies are becoming more and more audacious in the sense that they don't have to disclose what makes them so special. They just want us to continue to be misled consumers and constantly spend money on their products, which don't help our bodies. It doesn't work harmonious with our systems, and we see the effects of that somewhere down the line. So when it's found on an ingredient list, it can be known as fragrance or parfum, however you want to say that. But it can definitely refer to a blend of many undisclosed ingredients, all bundled up under one umbrella of a word, which is no bueno. In order to protect their trade secrets, fragrance gets passed as if they get a free pass from disclosing it, as I said earlier. Our outdated regulation is designed to conceal ingredients from the eyes of corporate competitors. So they have that loophole so that their recipes aren't manipulated or stolen. So now does the same for consumers who are inclined to scan labels for harmful ingredients. So the actual EWG app their website has an app, and that app you'll have available on your phone. So as you're shopping and before you even decide to buy a product, you can scan it. So to deter you from learning more of that product, you can, they discourage full disclosure, and they won't list all of their ingredients. The list includes, the Fragrance Association, the International Fragrance Association released a master list of more than 3,999 chemicals used by most manufacturers. The list includes carcinogens, endocrine disruptors, reproductive toxins, and numerous allergens, to name a few. A fragrance can be made up of any combination of these harmful chemicals that are rapidly absorbed or inhaled when we come into contact with them. So trashing the scented, our favorite scented lotions, candles, even so, wax melts, air fresheners, shampoos, all of those can be, we can ditch them because we know that, you know, they have that level of protection that's causing us more harm than good. So, of course, essential oils are much more than just scents. They are more than just scents, but fortunately, some of them do smell awesome. Some of them smell terrible. I have a friend who hates lavender, and lavender is probably it was one of my first favorites, and it just goes to our own individual bodies and what we like and dislike. And I've even learned that sometimes something that we smell, if you smell an essential oil and it doesn't quite agree with you or you don't favor it, it may be something that you actually need. So just as mom would sit us down in front of the broccoli and she knew we needed it, we thought differently and we didn't want it. So, but it didn't mean that, you know, it was bad for us. I have a lot of people who reject the oils. Oh, I don't like the way it smells. I don't like the way it smells. And I you know, kindly think you probably need some. But it would be a great idea to experiment with different essential oils in a diffuser. You can even add them to your baths. I love to get in the bathtub with them and Epsom salt. Actually, the Epsom salt helps the oils to actually diffuse into the water instead of sitting on top of the surface. So that's definitely a great routine for mamas and babies in the evenings. But it's also encouraging to know that these scents are not only safe, but they're benefiting the body as you inhale them. And if you put an essential oil on, the person next to you is going to benefit from them just by smelling them. That's the great thing. So ditching and switching is the act of taking one product that has all the harmful toxins and chemicals that we don't want and need for our bodies, and replacing it with a product, an oil-infused product that can benefit our bodies on throughout the day. So on any given day, my routine from start to finish, starting with brushing my teeth to, you know, feminine hygiene and just my hygienic routine, I probably use 50 oils before I leave my bathroom, and just think of all the benefits that I'm able to account for in doing so. So step 2 talks about replacing the products. And this is my trusted source. I hope that in learning more about Young Living, it'll come to be your trusted source. And we should know that it's not about, you know, getting rid of everything at one time, but you may be a person who is that way. I went cold turkey. I threw everything out upon learning and becoming consciously aware that I was bringing harmful things into my home and environment that negatively affected me, going through, you know, my health changes and dealing with a new transplant that I didn't want to lose. You know, I want to keep my husband's kidney forever. It was so important to me to adapt to a lifestyle that in every step brought health and benefited my body. So you may be that person that, you know, can go through and clean out everything in an instant. And then you also may be, you know, on the other end of the spectrum, and you may prefer, well, you know what? I want to be a good steward of my time and my talents and my treasures. I want to use the ingredients. I want to use the products until I'm done with them, and then, seek a better option. That's fine too. No judgment. Your journey is your journey. The only common ground should be your constant pursuit for wellness. So that takes me to this slide, baby steps. It's not all about, rushing in and doing things all at once. When I began my wellness journey, I took full advantage of the company's Essential Reward program because I knew that this was going to be something that everybody could benefit from. So initially, I only saw my health as a concern. My health was compromised. And of course, being mom, you're concerned about the whole family. But initially, it was me that needed the work. And so looking around, as I began to learn and become more educated, I pulled my family in those areas, and they learned alongside of me. And so, excuse me, I was able to swap out a few things every month by just placing one order a month, which helped me stay within my budget, of course, because that's important. You want to be a good steward of your treasures. That's what God expects us to do. And that was my goal. We were able to swap out all of those toxins while being rewarded as we took advantage of those convenient prices that were within the Essential Rewards program. So I'd love to be able to share more with you about that on the program for those of you who are interested in making those healthy life changes using Young Living. So extra read all about it was, if you can know what kind of person I am, I'm the person that I'm not going to keep this from you. When I go to the store, my kids are like, Mom, you're being weird. Stop being weird. Because I tend to reach out to people and I say, hey, are you aware of this? Are you aware that this product does that? And I try to help them learn and understand, those dangers, those hidden dangers that I didn't know of. And I wish somebody was there wanting to be weird for me all those years ago. They definitely don't shop with me anymore for that reason. But it doesn't shy me away from, warning and taking the time to connect with someone. I've made the most best relationships and connections over the years. I definitely think they were God appointed. Just by stopping and taking the time, excuse me, to be concerned and to show that I cared. So sharing this new lifestyle was what I told Charlotte. I was like, look, don't sign me up and don't put me under somebody that's not willing to share, because I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. And being a person experiencing what I was experiencing, my husband was actually deployed, and it was one Sunday evening after church, and I walked past Charlotte, and someone had returned a kit to her, and she had it on the pew next to her, and something would not let me walk past her. God was like, you need that. And it was like those words were so audible that I stepped back and I told her, I need that. And we got signed up right then and there. And I told her, I said, please don't put me under someone who's not passionate about this. Because if it's everything that it's supposed to be, I'm going to tell people about it. And I want to tell the truth. I'm so passionate about it. It's been a long time coming. I have many doctors that would not get on board with wanting to educate me in other modalities outside of pharmaceuticals and practicing medicine. And that was, I at one point, I was at up to 23 pills a day. And then I had to take another pill for acid reflux and things that just to counteract all of the medicines that I was taking just to sustain the kidney transplant. And I said, no more, something's got to give. If a banana does not clear my system in 2 hours, I got some work to do. I'm not going to take a pill for it. And so some things just began to click. And I think those were, times where God was really just showing me, Angela, this is the simplistic way of doing things. So we have come to believe that this is our way of life, and I don't think it'll ever change. He'll have to show me different, but I'm convinced that it won't. And people just they deserve to know the truth. They need to be in touch with our genuine selves. And not only should we be sharing God, we should be sharing the truth. So I've come to help many people share and learn, and teaching has become my passion. So it's come quite natural for me, this lifestyle. And some people say, hey, that's not for me. And I say, hey, do what's comfortable for you. But I definitely want you to know that I'm here for you in taking all these baby steps. So step 3 is just really fully implementing the lifestyle, really just diving in and discovering what Young Living has to offer as we, grow consciously and improve our wellness. So the company offers the Thieves Household Cleaner. Now, this cleaner is just amazing, and it offers every level of cleaning that you need. Our puppies come in from outside, and we dilute the actual cleaning solution, and we spray their feet, and 5 minutes later, they're out snoring. Their systems are receiving the benefits of the oils, and that's the one thing I love. It's not limited to one portion of my life. So we use, I mentioned earlier that there are oily mutts, which they are. Every night, my dog has this routine, and I take her out, and she comes in, and I tell her, hey, let's get your oils. And she comes, she's actually a girl dog, but she cocks her legs like a boy dog because she knows I'm going to put those oils in her belly. And she actually smells like licorice. Sometimes when we kiss her belly, we smell, and, she smells like licorice. But she gets her oils, and then she marches off to bed. And, we don't do the heart guard and all the other things that, our vet would recommend. And it was actually a vet tech who said, this stuff is not even 50% effective. And I was like, what? Talk about a light bulb moment. I'm already saving money using my oils at home. That just gave me another reason to, spread that dollar a little bit further. But we enjoy using them across the board, and that's what they do. They go far and they last long. So an essential oil will never expire, which is what we love about them. And, I've come to learn that they say you don't ask what an essential oil does. You ask, what do you want it to do? So from a quantum physics standpoint, you may take it or use it in one way for one purpose, but it's going to have very many other areas that it helps the body. So the Thieves Household Cleaner, we actually use with the laundry, with our laundry detergent as a booster. I use it in our wash bowl to get our wash bowl nice and clean on the clean cycle. Actually, Thieves was my first purchase. It was my first oily purchase. And it was so profound based on the story of thieves. So you had a group of bandits and robbers back 5th century who would go around stealing from people who were dying of the bubonic plague. And one of the things that stuck with me from that story is that the judge actually gave them a lesser sentence in exchange for the recipe. And so, if that didn't wake me up, and, if that wasn't a light bulb moment for me, I was like, okay, so that I left that day at my church in that missions conference, remembering that story. And I think it took me a year to revisit it before I ever made a purchase. But that was my first oily purchase, if I could share that. And I would use that Thieves. I would put 20 drops in a gallon of cleaning vinegar and run it through my clean cycle and the wash. And as you know, Thieves is not, you know, it's not a cheap oil. It's not an expensive oil. But looking back, you know, if I had it to do all over again, I would not be wasting my Thieves in my bowl. I would be using the appropriated Thieves products that Young Living offers. But you know, we had, you know, young puppies who were throwing up and things like that. And they were sick in the stomach. And I didn't, you know, I needed a way to clean our wash bowl. So I definitely, I was a DIYer. I'm a DIYer at heart. So moving on, I want to go back to kitchen. This is definitely what we use in our kitchen. And actually my kids and I were just outside because they were like, what are you using for these bubbles? We blow bubbles for our dogs. And I told her, I was like, it's our Thieves soap. And another friend who was with her was like, well, what do you use that for? You know? And I'm like, it's our plant-based dishwashing liquid. So just a little learning there. But moving on, we also have hand soap and fruit cleaners and things like that to soak all the waxes and chemicals that are coating our fruit and vegetables. I don't know if you knew that, but so personal care, like I said, from the start of my day to the finish of my day, I'm probably using about 50 to 75 oils. Well, if I repeat the same cycle, I'm using the same oils over again. So about 100 oils or 50 oils I use twice a day. So I'm getting that level of care throughout my day twice. And knowing how long an oil can stay in the body is very interesting. So an essential oil the body can hold on to it for up to 22 hours based on what you need in your system. So that's very important. So if your body is toxic and, you know, we're around tons of, you know, we all have different environments and we inhale and we're susceptible to being around tons of different things and chemicals. And oil can stay in your body longer to deal with that. So makeup is a big thing, especially for my daughter. You know, she's of age to use makeup, and I trust this. We don't have all the talc and bismuth and parabens and things like that. She can use a lot of it. You can take one thing and use it for another. So it's very multi-purposed in the way that you choose to use it. And even our babies, you know, they're the most delicate things, their skin, you know, their systems. And we want to make sure that what comes into contact with them isn't harmful. So the company offers an array of baby products as well as our older kids. And then, you know, guys, just to conclude, there are so many things that I wish I had time to share with you today, but if I could leave you with a few things to remember, it would be to do your research, do your due diligence. You know, you and your families are definitely worth it. You're worth your time and effort pouring into researching different ways to support your body systems. Be well informed, look into the matter. I love the way the Bible refers to it. You know, taste and see that I am good. You know, God commands us to be good stewards and to want to learn more, you know. And he challenges us to learn more about him, but that can also apply to our everyday lives. So become a label reader. Expect these products, Young Living's products, to be different. You know, many people say, oh, well, it didn't work for me. Well, you know, okay. But did you really give it your honest, you know, try? Did you set a schedule? Did you say, I'm going to use it until the product is done? They're going to look different. They're going to smell different. They're going to act differently, unlike the traditional products that we're used to buying in the store. They won't be loaded with toxins and chemicals and things like that. So it's going to come off as being something totally foreign. But as with everything that's new in our lives, and every new thing, there's a learning curve, and we just have to, you know, want to ride it out. But the thing I love about essential oils is that they work harmonious in the body, and they're unique. I can say that. So much so without all those dangerous ingredients. So you and your families are worth the investment. That was where I started. I said, Angela, no, you can't spend your family's money on this, and it's just for you. You know, usually as moms, we love buying things that benefit everyone. And so in the beginning, like I said, I only saw this for me, and, you know, learning more about it, I learned that this can be an overall lifestyle haul. You know, we can upgrade, we can get rid of some things, and we can do better. You know, as they say, when you know better, you do better. So the one thing I can say is that high quality products, they last a long time. And, you know, whatever the cost, whatever the sacrifices that needs to be made, you and your family, you're worth it. I hope that, you know, today you've learned something and you found something to take away, even if it's one story. That's what gets us to learning. But I just want to thank Karen for the opportunity to come and present to you, and open it up to questions, and just say thank you.
Absolutely. I love this. We'll open it up for questions. I have like 4. So anybody go first? Maybe you'll cover mine.
I just want to know, what do you personally make any with teas? I'm really limited on things I can drink. I can drink water and ginger tea and holy basil tea. Sometimes I can have like black tea or very lightly. So do you have any other tea ideas?
Well, actually in the summer, I do an oil infused tea. I'll even set out our big jug where the family can go and drink from, the one with the little spout. I'll put in some frozen berries. I'll put in some maybe mint tea, and I'll put in a couple of drops of lemon essential oil and some ice cubes. And that just encourages us to drink more water during the day. So you can do that on the go with any of your teas that you favor. I even have a concoction that I like to make around Halloween called Thieves Brew, where I use thieves, and it brings in the cinnamon flavor in with the hibiscus. It's really, really tasty. You can really explore with the oils. We actually use a lot of our oils in cooking. So there are things that we just don't have to buy anymore because our oils, you know, it really, you know, takes our dollar far.
Young Living also has several tea sets available that they're selling.
Yes, they do.
They have some already created that you can pre-purchase.
Yes, yes. And that is actually, that was a part of our convention release, if I'm not mistaken. So, but I haven't tried any of those teas yet. I'm a tea head, which is unheard of. Usually I'm on it. So I'd love to get back to you on how I enjoy those teas. But there is the sleek tea that I have tried, and I do love that.
So Jessica can put her Young Living website in here, and so can I, but we would rather put yours in here. Can you type it into the chat room, or tell me what it is so I can type it in the chat room?
So I don't have a website, but you know, I'm on Facebook, and I don't do a lot of social media. My email is walkera617 for anyone who wants to get a hold to me of me. walkera617@hotmail.com, or you can, you know, message me through Facebook.
So on Facebook, is it, I was going to really put your actual Facebook link in here. Let me go see if I can find you. Because there's probably other Angela Walkers.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I've got you. Let me make sure I'm doing the right one.
And do you have a DIY site where you post your stuff?
I don't. You know, my Facebook is full of DIYs, and, you know, I use my Facebook for only sharing good and positive things. Most of the time you'll see, you know, what I'm doing with my Young Living products there. So I use that platform exclusively for a lot of what I'm doing.
Okay, walkera617@hotmail.com. We got that. And I got your Facebook in there.
Great.
Yeah, so you're saying that if we go to your Facebook page, we'll see some DIY stuff
Of course.
all the time. And then will we see, how do we get a hold of you for raindrop training?
Oh, for raindrop training. Wow. You definitely could just message me or
Okay.
email me. Yeah.
And what about, and then same for the training for essential oils in the Bible. We really want that one too.
Mhm.
Okay, we will do that. So there was one thing you said, and it was, if you don't like the smell of a particular essential oil, it's possible that's an indication that you really need that one. And I'll tell you, I've heard that before. I love that. I've heard that before. So for example, at one point we were doing a lot of colloidal minerals.
Mhm.
I'm not even sure if the company that we got them from even exists anymore, and the name escapes me right now, but I have their stuff in the house. And one of the things they said is you need zinc. And you know you need it because you can taste it.
Mhm.
But if you take it and you don't taste it anymore, then you've gotten to a point where your body doesn't need it. I thought that was fascinating because we
That's
could
amazing.
probably have not paid attention to that in caring for ourselves well.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
loved that. I'm sure it's different for different things, but
Mhm.
um,
Well, they even say you can take peppermint and put it on the bottom of your feet, in the corresponding area that, you know, corresponds to your mouth and your face. And some say they can taste it. It behooves me. I've not, you know, I've had many essential oils on my feet via raindrop, and I've still yet to taste anything. But, you know, every individual is different. So.
well, and so I've heard that too, that different. So here's a testimony about the bottom of your feet thing really quickly. That when my grandmother, when I was in college, had cancer, breast cancer for 6 years, and eventually succumbed, of course, to it. There was a point where she was totally bedridden, couldn't even move her head from side to side. And we had her at home at my aunt's house in a hospital bed, and, you know, home health coming and checking on her. And they hired a sitter. I'll never forget this lady. Her name was Daisy, and she had this chart about all the different spots on the bottom of your feet and what organ system they corresponded to. And she began to massage my grandmother's feet. I don't know if she used oils back then, or I don't know what she used. And she, of course, did exercises with my grandmother. My grandmother got up out of that hospital bed and went back to work for years before she succumbed again, you know, to the cancer. And we fully believed that it was Daisy, that her care of my grandmother and the way that she massaged her feet and the things that she understood about how her bodies worked, you know, got my grandmother. Can you imagine if we were able to massage her feet with oils that she needed during that time, what miracles might have happened. So now we're essential oil lovers. We are thieves lovers. I actually think it tastes terrible, so I probably really need it. But I appreciate you. Any other questions really quick before we pray for her and let her go? We will have you back. You can find her in NACWE membership now. That's one of the perks of speaking to us this way, is a CompTIA of membership. And And we would love to have you back, and we want you to bring some of your peeps, the special
Of
peeps.
Of course.
Any other quick questions for her before we go? Awesome. God bless you. Let me pray for us. Father God, we would just pray a special blessing over Angela and over her family and her oily dogs, and the way that she has passionately embraced learning. I mean, this overwhelms me. It's not my thing, and I know I need to not let it overwhelm me, but it does. So I'm grateful, Lord, for the Angelas in our life where we can go to trainings like DIY and raindrop training and other things so that we can do what you've called us to do, and she can do what you've called her to do. So I pray a special blessing on her, Lord. I pray that you will expand her business, her ministry, that you'll keep her healthy, Lord, and her family healthy. We are so grateful for the way they've served our country in military service. Our family's a military family too. Dr. Sandra is a military family too. We're grateful, Lord, and I would just pray a special blessing over everyone who has served that way to keep us protected and safe and to, enhance our lives. I just can't imagine being without our military presence. And so, well, we're grateful, Lord, for the end of this month where we've walked through environmental wellness. There were probably so many different ways and directions we could have gone, and I'm grateful for the way you've led us. We want to use essential oils wisely. We want to be healthy. We want an environmental culture that is healthy, Lord. We want to honor you with our environments. Help us to do that wisely, and especially be with us, Lord, as we move into social wellness next month. We ask these things in Jesus Christ's holy name. Amen. God bless. Thank you so much. Oh, and if you could send me your slides too, we would love to put them next to the replay.
Of course.
If you can, I would appreciate it. God bless. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you, ladies.